example, if you just for an example, if you take, there is a Japanese company which has franchises, joint ventures, subsidiaries, or maybe its units in different locations. For example, in India, USA, Canada, Mexico, maybe in France, or maybe you can see that South Africa, China, different locations. It has its units or maybe joint ventures or maybe subsidiaries. So here the Japanese company has an opportunity to select the employees or maybe select the manpower for different positions from all these countries. They have the uh, chances are there, choices are there. So here broadly you can see these choices of choosing the manpower. We can broadly consider it as three varieties, three types, or maybe you can say that three groups or three categories are there. One we can say parent country nationals, and another is host country nationals, and the third one is the trans country nationals. The, see these parent country nationals and the different how we can say means parent country in the sense the origin of the organization where it is origin. For example, here it is suppose the company first started in Japan means Japan is the parent, the Japanese people who will be chosen for that company means they consider it as a parent company nationals. Suppose if the company started in India, if you are choosing manpower, Indians means these Indians considered as a parent country nationals. These parent country nationals also considered as or maybe called as home country nationals. And sometimes you may find it as parent country nationals, or sometimes you can consider it as a home country nationals. The second one is that host country nationals. That means the subsidiary or maybe the unit or joint venture is located in another place, another country. And those country people, for example, the Japanese company located in India. So if you are choosing the Indians to work in Japanese company, so here we can consider Indians are as a host country nationals. Similarly, if you choose Americans to the Japanese subsidiary there in USA, you can consider them as a host country nationals. Similarly, wherever the Japanese company located, the units are located, you are choosing the local people there, consider it as a host country nationals. And sometimes in international, due to this globalization in international companies, we may get other than this another category also known as trans country nationals. So here Japanese company units are located in USA, but there a Canadian was chosen and an employee, or maybe a Chinese person chosen, or an Indian chosen. So other than that, that means that person is not belongs to either host country or parental country. So these are the majorly three categories are there employees. But other than this, sometimes there is again beyond another categories also there. But majorly we will consider these three categories. For example, if you see the American citizenship holder, that means dual citizenship people are there, persons. Suppose Indian, that American born Indian is there. If that person is selected for a position in America, which the parent company is from India, whether we can consider them as a host country person national or home country or parental country national. So these are some difficulties, or maybe you can say some conflicts are there. So to avoid these all these, broadly we can consider, that means the theorists are categorized this manpower into three categories, three groups for international staffing. So one is the parental country nationals and host country nationals and trans country nationals. So if here there are the trans country nationals, third country nationals we can consider. Here there are advantages and disadvantages. We can say benefits and drawbacks are there. Let us see from each one. So then based on what are the benefits, what are the drawbacks, if we came to know, then we can decide that what type of person we can choose for a particular assignment or task or job. First, if you see the parent country nationals, so parent country national, what are the advantages means it is easy for the parent company to send parent country national to another abroad where its units are located. We can call them as expatriates. If you are sending the parent country national, that employee to another subsidiary, which is the company's units are located in another country, they considered as are called as expatriates. So here the advantages are communication. Mostly, if you are the position at a higher level, if you have to talk, you have to communicate with this parent company smoothly to avoid any conflicts or confusions. So parental country nationals, what will happen? The language is same, and there is no confusion with organizational culture because he or she is previously worked in the parent country for some time, so they can acquire the cultural practices and familiar with the cultural practices, and even they are familiar with the host states. We see the cross cultural factors are there. That means the hierarchy levels. So they are familiar what is the criteria, what type of hierarchy level they are using, and what type of cultural practices in organization level, the communication also, languages. So there isn't any language barrier, and the practices. So different practices will be there. For example, if you consider finance, so each year the company has to submit the financial report to the concerned governments, national governments or state governments, whichever. Suppose the Japanese company is located in USA, they have to submit the financial report to the US government. Similarly, they have to submit to the parent country uh, film also, and to the Japan. To again, they have to submit to their national. That means Japan government also they have to. So here we is to observe that there is a different patterns. One country may follow the financial calendar is different than another country. So in this case, we should that means the person who is appointed there, they should be aware of when they have to submit all the information to the parent country and how, in which format they have to submit. So in these cases, they are familiar. There isn't any confusion, and they can work very effectively. They can perform their job effectively because of familiarity of these cultural practices with the parent country firm. And it is for them also, it is easy in the sense it is in terms of selecting the person. Maybe they know the parent country knows the parent country, the firm knows the capabilities of the person to whom they chosen to as an expatriate in another abroad units. So they know very well their capabilities and their performance previously they seen and how they performed and how they manage their teams. So for them, they can say the possibilities are the higher possibilities to get the better performance from that person in the abroad instead of selecting a local candidate. But here, along with these benefits, so there are other drawbacks also there. So one thing is, if you are sending a parental country national to abroad, so it is more, it's not a cost effective. You have to, the company has to spend more when compared with the host country nationals, because you have to pay for travel, local expenses, accommodation, and if it is necessary, they have to pay the different club memberships to motivate their employees. And if the expatriate, that means the parental country national, that nationalist, the employees have family, so company has to bear their expenses also. And sometimes the company has to find a job, search a job to the spouse. So these are the burden to the parent country film. So compared with home country, host country nationalists, so these are the some drawbacks. And another is, suppose if you are spended some lot of amount, you are paid the travel expenses, and even you are paid the accommodation allowances and other allowances. So that means you spend that means the company spend more on those people. But in case if the candidate, that employees are not able to fit with the local culture, so two things may happen. Before completing the agreement or maybe the time period, the person may return to the home country, that means the parental country. So this is the huge loss to the parental country film. And sometimes, suppose if the person didn't come back, the another aspect, the other possibilities are poor performance from that person. So this will impact very highly if it is a poor performance, because it is an international level between the countries. It's not between the only company. Sometimes it will influence the countries also, because they have to deal with the different officials. So it will impact in all the levels. So this will create a huge loss to them. Sometimes what will happen in the host country, they may not encourage, or they may not like to appoint a parent country nationals, where they need more communication or interactions. So this may create some misunderstandings due to the language barriers or cultural barriers, differences. And sometimes parental country, host country has certain norms. So there you have to hire candidates from the local, but even then, to avoiding that, by refusing, you are choosing a parent country national, you may think that the host country people may not competent. So yeah, and again, they may not know how means how to do the work, or how to do the process, whether they know the procedures and knowledge, all these things. So to avoid this uh, risk, you may choosing the parent country nationals. So you may get, the company get uh, against views, or the host country people may think that they are under undermining their capabilities. So this creates some clashes with the company. In the long run, the company may face the losses also. So these are the drawbacks by choosing a PCN, parental country nationals, for the international assignment. So now you see the another aspect, the another category, host country nationals. host country nationals means these are the local people for the unit. The local people are familiar with their culture and they are familiar, they can easily mingle with the employees who are appointed from the local, and they can easily understood the local government's do's and don'ts and how to approach them. So here this creates more advantage in case of where the position needs more involvement or more interaction with the local people, and they don't have the language barriers also, they don't find, even the cultural barriers also they don't face. And another aspect is, as a local, the communities or maybe the governments may support the company also. So these are the benefits. But choosing the host country nationals, there are drawbacks also. What are the drawbacks? In the sense, the host country nationals may have the difference, language differences with the parent country film, and another is they may have the cultural barriers, differences are there. Even the not only the normal culture, even the organizational cultural practices, they may have the differences. These differences may create some confusion, or sometimes it may create some conflicts. So this is the one aspect, and another aspect is maybe sometimes the host country nationals may not educate, or maybe they may not enough about the technical know-how using the machineries or how to handle fulfilling the other formalities in the at the workplace. They may not competent. So these things will again create a in the work effectiveness may reduce. It may not be effective to complete that task within the time period by that unit. So these are the drawbacks, some of the drawbacks. And another aspect, another group of people also there. So that is called third country nationals or trans country nationals. So here these people are not belongs to the parental country, not belong to the host country nationality. They are coming from the different country. So here we are finding the advantages and disadvantages here also. If you see the advantages, these third country nationals are more competent technically. They know how to handle the machinery. That means know how in know how pattern. They are more most competent than host country or parental country, and technically they are more equipped, and they have the knowledge of different uh, cultures and languages also. They may have the languages, they may know the some up to some aspect of different, even the local country, that means host country language, and parental country languages also they may know at somewhat. So this creates what will happen, because once they are no very educated, they are mostly educated because they are used to study in the different country, not in their home country. They used to study in another country, so that they can acquire that cultural practices also at somewhat. And when they used to work in different countries, they used to familiar with the different new technologies, so they can work effectively than these other two categories of the employees. And due to this, the work will be done effectively within a time. So it will create the economically more profit or benefits of the parental country. But here the drawbacks are there, because these people people, the third country nationals are familiar or maybe effective in their technical skills or educational skills. The, another benefit here for the third country nationals, they are economically they are benefit better than the other two countries nationals. That suppose compared with parental country nationals, you don't need to spend more amount on the third country nationals because they used to reside are in already reside or maybe they may have their accommodation facilities on their own, and that would they don't stay for a longer time period also. For at a some time period they will stay, or maybe suppose they settled in the third country, so we no need to provide them separately for the accommodation facilities, or you know to provide any family benefits to them. So here only you have to think of the compensation while fixing the compensation. How you have to fix? You have to fix based on the uh, parental country package or host country package. You can negotiate. Cost-wise, it is effective. But here the drawbacks are these third country nationals are they don't know well about the host country national culture or parental country culture. Similarly, regarding the language also, they can communicate just for do their work only up to that. They may not effectively communicate neither host country people employ with host country employees nor with parental country employees. So here this is the drawback is there. So whenever you are if you are going to choose the employees for a particular position where you need more technical expertise, so then we can choose this category third country national. So if you are going to where the choose the employees for a particular position where you need more local interactions, so in that place we can mostly we can prefer host country nationals. In a positions where you need more grip on the film, you don't want to lose your authority. So in that case, and if you want to communicate the what happening in the organization, so all the transactions, if you want to communicate effectively with parental country film, so in that case we can choose the PCN category people. So these are the merits and demerits, or benefits or drawbacks of choosing different category of people. And these things also will differ. What are the benefits? These benefits are we can't consider for particularly for an individual level. Sometimes if you choose individually, it will varies. These are not suppose the benefits what we are talking. So this is as an organizational level only we can choose mostly. You can't see at individual level and you can't judge. So these are the things we have to consider whenever we are choosing selecting a candidate employee for an international assignment or an expatriate job. So we have to be specific what type of category we have to choose, and we have to aware of the local atmosphere also, the conditions, their rules and regulations also we should know. So then only we can take a better decision and we can choose a better strategy. You can find in a one film, you will find all these three categories also. You can't find only one set of people. So depends on the position and depends on their job and job role. We will find all these three categories in different levels in the organization. So once if you know that what type of employees are, that means the manpower are available, for what purpose they are better, if you know, so we can take the better strategies to select the people. So this is regarding to this staffing pattern.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I have one question to ask.
Yeah, yes, Biswajit.
Hello.
Yes, yes, Biswajit. Tell.
Sir, only one thing I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
That sir say um say in his say one
Mm. Yes, Biswajit. Tell.
sir in a company, sir, say a MNC company has been set up in a host country, sir.
Yeah.
So and there one department is there, says a sales department.
Mm.
So in that sales department, sir, for the time being, we are taking as an example that only 5 people are required.
Mm.
So among that 5, one is from a host country, and sir, one is from a, sir, say the parental country, and
Mm.
sir, one is from a transient company.
Mm.
Say sir, Japan, sir, Toyota Motors we are as taking as an example.
Mm.
So they have set up a plant in, say, Delhi.
Okay.
So for sales, they have taken from one person from Delhi. Then
Mm.
he becomes the host employee,
Mm.
and from one they have as a for, say, to guide the employees of the sales how Toyota, what is the Toyota mission and how Toyota wants to convey their products. So they have appointed one employee from their parental company for Japan
Yeah.
to means give a means experience of how Japanese people think or how Japanese people see an advertisement.
Yes.
So and one another they are employing from, say, from any Southeast Asian countries, say Thailand,
Mm.
for sales. So, sir, in the same department, 3 persons are there. So
Mm.
their motivation are also their purchases and their, say, things which the company gives as a motivational factors,
Yes.
to be more effective in their job, are they will not the same? No, sir, it will never be same. Their perks will also be different, because Japanese person's motivation thing will not be same to the Indian one, no, sir, because
Yes.
the culture different. Those things is there, or it's just in my mind I am thinking like that.
Yeah, this will be there everywhere. That's why it is depends on the company motto. I told you, na, the company chosen the one person from the Japanese, the parental country national, because they want to have the grip on the company here in the unit in the India. If they kept the Indian person as a head, so what will happen? They may not have our grip in this unit because they have the cultural barriers are there, even language barriers also. You don't think that everyone is to speak English. So different country people, suppose you see the Asian country, Japanese people will prefer mostly Japanese language. If you take the in European countries, German, France, and other countries, they used to speak their own mother tongue. So it will avoid their conflicts and the cultural barriers. So that's why to avoid this cultural barriers purpose, for a proper communication, they kept one from the parental company and one from the local. That means Indian is chosen because they want to mingle with the local people more, even the officials and everyone. So to that, the person who, that means Indian knows very well the cultural practices, how to meet, when to meet the officials or maybe the other customers to increase their sales. And the third country nationals also chosen. Maybe they may have the pattern that it is like a, some training for the third country national. They may have their motto of set up their units in other locations in other Asian countries. They may otherwise sometimes they want to study the behavioral pattern also. So this is the depends on the motto of the organization. You have to choose the follow the different strategy. Maybe these are the strategies because they don't disclose that what what strategy they want to follow and what they are doing. So any questions or any input?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Biswajit, you are given a good point, valid point with your observation. Okay, with this we will stop for today's one. And tomorrow we just talk about the compensation practices. So any input you want to give?